I didn't buy shit. I bought myself out of debt, and I did that in like less than 2 years, a year and a half, $750,000 in debt.
Bro. That's badass. It's a great accomplishment.
I remember sitting with some of the suppliers, and they just tell me, they're like, I got to give it to you. It's like everybody else would have went bankrupt instead. And that's the truth of it. And then they open up another company under a different name, and then go get a line of credit from Beacon again for another $100,000 the following week. I think it's another waste of money, giving out more free money. It's just going to cost us more money in the long run and, keep us down longer.
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Without government tax incentives, there's oftentimes solar does not make sense for the homeowner. Yeah. That's the truth. Because basically, with the 30% tax credit they're talking about, though, dude, I'm telling you, 30% is practically like giving the solar for free. You get it on the roof, you get it on the solar. They bumped up the tax credit. So what they're saying, the $360 billion is money in tax write-offs that they wouldn't get from everyone going solar. And here really is where they're going to get the money when they take...
So Hammer invited me out to... blue collar event, and I was like, all right, whatever, went out to that, and I like to go to the events. You learn a little bit, find some new stuff. But then I think it was what's the guy, Ricky Southers?
Yeah,
I kind of heard his story about where he was, and it kind of I felt kind of like he was talking to me like this. I was stuck at a certain point. We were doing good. Our system was great, but we could only handle a certain amount. Didn't want to interview people, hire people, train people. I didn't have the time to do it because we were doing everything we were doing, but we were just kind of hitting a ceiling. And, then when I heard that song, I'm like, how did he break from there to here? I got to find out. I got to know what this is about, and then I, ask around, what is it? And you're like, how much it is about the price of a small car. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh shit, I've spent some money on some mentors and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid to spend money, but a lump sum like that, I was like, shit. That's a big nut, and it was, so.
You're going to be super successful.
Yeah.
There's just some key elements. What are you doing right now? This Florida, talk about this new law you were just talking about. It's such a big deal.
The insurance?
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. It's sweeping across Florida, and it's an opportunity. It's like a gold rush out of itself.
It is a gold rush out of itself.
And they say Florida is like the indicator for what other people will do.
Yeah.
The other insurance companies follow Florida. Yeah. So if you're in another state, don't think that this isn't coming right down.
No, it's coming, yeah. Well, what's happened is because we got so many catastrophic storms in the last few years, the insurance companies were getting beat down by litigation. So a lot of them are pulling out of town. So what the remaining companies are doing is limiting their liability with people. So if your roof is over 10, they're down to 10. I'm hearing 10 a lot more, but it was 15 for like the first 6 months of the year. And now they're saying, I'm hearing people say, hey, your roof's over 10 years old. Your shingle roof's over 10 years old. You have to replace it. It's crazy. I go out to see roofs and I'm like, man, these things are, they're still good. But the insurance companies don't want that liability. So they're saying, hey, either change your roof or we're dropping you. And there's not a whole lot of options of insurance anymore in Florida because all the bigger companies are pulling out. So people are frantic, and in some cases, they're giving them 30 days. It's like, you get your roof done in 30 days or
we're dropping you.
We're dropping you, right?
You can't even get a roof and permit in 30 days, hardly,
yeah.
dude.
And